Chapter 6 Rural Administration. Mohan is a farmer. His family owns a small agricultural field which they have been farming for many years. Next to his field is Raghu's land, which is separated from his by a small boundary called a pond. One morning Mohan noticed that Raghu had shifted the pond by a few feet. By doing so, he had managed to take over some of Mohan's land and increased the size of his own field. Mohan was angry but also a little frightened. Raghu's family owned many fields, and besides, his uncle was also the sarpanch of the village. But even so, he plucked up courage and went to Raghu's house. A heated argument followed. Raghu refused to accept that he had moved the pond. He called one of his helpers and they began shouting at Mohan and beating him up. The neighbors heard the commotion and rushed to the spot where Mohan was being beaten up. They took him away. He was badly hurt on his head and hand. He was given first aid by one of his neighbors. His friend, who also ran the village post office, suggested that they go to the local police station and file a report. Others were doubtful if this was a good idea because they felt they would waste a lot of money and nothing would come out of it. Some people said that Raghu's family would have already contacted the police station. After much discussion, it was decided that Mohan would go to the police station along with some of the neighbors who had seen the incident. Area of the police station. On the way to the police station, one of the neighbors asked, "Why don't we spend some more money and go to the main police station in the town? It is not a question of money. We can register the case only in this police station because our village comes in its area of work," explained Mohan. Every police station has an area that comes under its control. All persons in that area can report cases or inform the police about any theft, accident, injury, fight, etc. It is the responsibility of the police of that station to inquire, to investigate, and take action on the cases within its area. The work at the police station. When they reached the police station, Mohan went to the person in charge, station house officer or SHO, and told him what had happened. He also said that he wanted to give the complaint in writing. The SHO rudely brushed him aside, saying that he couldn't be bothered to waste his time writing down minor complaints and then investigating them. Mohan showed him his injuries, but the SHO did not believe him. Mohan was puzzled and did not know what to do. He was not sure why his complaint was not being recorded. He went and called his neighbors into the office. They argued strongly that Mohan had been beaten up in front of them, and had they not rescued him, he would have been injured very seriously. They insisted that the case be registered. Finally, the officer agreed. He asked Mohan to write down his complaint and also told the people that he would send a constable the next day to investigate the incident. Maintenance of land records. You saw that Mohan and Raghu were arguing heatedly whether the common boundary of their field had been shifted. Isn't there a way by which they could have settled this dispute in a peaceful manner? Are there records that show who owns what land in the village? Let's find out how this is done. Measuring land and keeping land records is the main work of the patwari. The patwari is known by different names in different states. In some villages, such officers are called lekhpal. In other, kanungo or karamchari or village officers, etc. We will refer to this officer as patwari. Each patwari is responsible for a group of villages. The patwari maintains and updates the record of the village. The map and the corresponding details from the register on the next page are a small part of the records kept by the patwari. The patwari usually has ways of measuring agricultural field. In some places, a long chain is used. In the above instance, the patwari would have measured both Mohan's and Raghu's field and compared them with the measurement on the map. If they did not match, then it would be clear that the boundary of the field has been changed. The Patwari is also responsible for the organizing the collection of land revenue from the farmers and providing information to the government about the crops grown in this area. This is done from the records that are kept, and this is why it's important for the Patwari to regularly update these. Farmers may change the crop grown on their field, or someone may dig a well somewhere. And keeping track of all this is the work of the revenue department of the government. Senior people in this department supervise the Patwari's work. All states in India are divided into districts for managing matters relating to land. These districts are further subdivided. These subdivisions of a district are known by different names such as Tehsil, Taluka, etc. At the head is the district collector, and under her are revenue officers, also known as Tehsildar. They have to hear disputes. They also supervise the work of the Patwaris and ensure that records are properly kept and land revenue is collected. They make sure that the farmers can easily obtain a copy of their record. Students can obtain their caste certificates, etc. The Tehsildar office is where land disputes are also heard. A new law, Hindu Succession Amendment Act 2005. Often when we think of farmers who own land, we think of men. Women are seen as people who work on the fields, but not as people who own agricultural land. Till recently, in some states, Hindu women did not get a share in the family's agricultural land. After the death of the father, his property was divided equally only among his sons. Recently, the law was changed. The new law's sons, daughters and their mothers can get an equal shares in the land. The same law will apply to all states and union territories of the country. This law will benefit a large number of women. For example, Sudha is the eldest daughter of an agricultural family. She is married and lives in a neighboring village. After her father's death, Sudha often comes to help her mother with the farming work. Her mother has asked the Patwari to transfer the land and enter her name along with the names of all the children is in his record. Sudha's mother confidently organizes the farming with the help of the younger brother and sister. Similarly, Sudha also lives with the assurance that if she ever has a problem, she can always depend upon her shares of the land.